Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host, Paula Taylor, and this is our very first ever mini episode. So the last couple of weeks, we've been talking around and then straight out about self-care. You may have noticed there was a lot of overlap with the last two episodes, and to the point where I thought, oh, did I just kind of say the same thing twice in a row? But there was a little bit different spin on it, and it's very important. As an extension of that, I had this epiphany today. So originally the show was a weekly podcast. Every Wednesday night we got together, we did this work together. And as I have gotten busier, I have not been able to maintain that pace. I almost never go live on Wednesday nights anymore. Sometimes it's not even Wednesdays. And a lot of times it hasn't been weekly. And it occurred to me a couple months ago, I did a little bonus episode, which was actually just me talking for about 10 minutes at the beginning of the episode about something that was topical to that moment. And it wasn't really part of the larger episode. And today I was doing some self-care. I was receiving some acupuncture. And sometimes what happens when I'm in that space of receiving is that my mind is kind of doing brainstorming work. My body is receiving and I'm sort of doing energy work, and then my mind kind of goes off and little ideas come to me, or big ideas come to me. And I thought, why not go live every week, even if it's only for 20 minutes? Every show does not have to be a deep dive into a topic with a 20-minute meditation. So the format for the show, if you're new to the show, most of the time we do kind of a self-help topic, personal kind of development topic, spiritual, energetic. I'm an energy worker, sound healer, so we do that for 30 to 45 minutes. We have a discussion around that. I talk about something, and then we do about a 20-minute meditation that is related to the topic we've talked about. And those will continue. We will have full episodes when I have the time to do that. But one of the things I talked about last week with self-care was this idea that self-care is extremely important. It's not frivolous. It's not something you get to when you have the time for it. It's something you make time for. And I do that for myself all the time. I have a very busy schedule now. I'm in the middle of a 13-day in a row work week, 2 weeks, whatever, work span. Not sustainable, I recognize that. But also, how do I take care of myself when I'm that busy? When I'm working that many days in a row, I don't have much downtime. I find little bits here and there. I had just enough time today for an acupuncture appointment to go and take care of myself. I do my energetic hygiene. I try to take care of my physical body by fitting in exercise where I can. All of that sort of thing, that's all part of self-care. So it occurred to me that on the weeks that I don't have time to do a full episode, we could do what I'm thinking of as mini episodes. So about a 10-minute topical update, what's going on with the energy around us right now, maybe a little card pull, just something that we can keep fairly short, maybe a really short topic discussion, and then a 10-minute meditation instead of the 20-minute meditation. And it occurred to me that I'm not the only one who's very busy, and so these mini episodes might be a really good way for people to find a short span of self-care time in their busy week. So these will be posted just like regular episodes. I'm not going to number them. They're just going to be mini episode and maybe a little short title. So today we're going to do an energy update, what's going on globally right now. Interestingly, if you're listening to this much later, not on May 22nd, 21st, I never know what day it is. It's around May 20th somewhere, 2024. This may still be applicable to you, and this whole year is intense. We've been talking about that. So you might find this topic useful. You might decide to fast forward to about the 10-minute mark and just participate in the 10-minute meditation. Either way, you get a little bit of time for self-care. You don't have to commit to a full hour. I'm going to do my best to keep this to 20 minutes. Aside from this little intro, which we won't have for every mini episode, but this is just the first time. So I wanted to kind of explain my thinking, explain the format before we jumped into it. So welcome to our very first mini episode of Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm happy that you're here. I'm excited to kind of get back to doing weekly episodes. even when we have these mini episodes kind of interspersed with the longer ones, perhaps this will be more enjoyable to people to have access to both formats here. So let's do a little bit of an energy update. Today, it's the 23rd. I know that because it's the full moon. So today is May 23rd, 2024. The full moon is tonight. That being said, right now, the intensity of the energy is such that this full moon energy stretches to about a week on either side of the full moon. 3 to 4 days beforehand and up to a week afterwards is how I've been feeling this energy. What is the energy of a full moon? We've talked about this before, but just briefly, intense. Intensity is the energy of the full moon. It is an activation. And typically the activation of the full moon is calling on us to release something. We set intentions at the new moon. This culminates at the full moon, and then we're invited to release. So what are you being asked to release? And what I notice is that globally there are some themes that come up each full moon cycle, which is about once a month. This month, it very much feels like, my Alexa liked that statement, this month very much feels like abundance. We are being asked to release our blocks to abundance. So what is abundance? What does that mean? It's a very common kind of catchphrase that people use a lot. And typically we associate it with financial abundance, with money. But abundance is abundance of everything. Right now, I do not have an abundance of time. So I am looking at where am I blocking myself from allowing more abundance of time? Why am I so overscheduled? Where can I find ways to dial that back? And a lot of times, in my case, it's linked to that financial abundance. I'm working all the time in order to make money so that I can live. So what you'll find is abundance is linked to different types of abundance of time, abundance of energy. I have been feeling exhausted. I had to go to bed very early last night. Some of that is all of this work. A lot of that is the intensity of the energy, which asks us to receive. In order to receive, we need to rest. So abundance of energy, abundance of love, abundance of friendship, abundance of fill in the blank with whatever calls to you. We are being asked right now to look at our relationship with abundance and to release the limitations we've placed on ourselves about receiving. Abundance is all about receiving. And most of us have a hard time with receiving. I have been working very hard on allowing myself to receive for about the last 5+ years, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I've gotten to the point where I can rest, I can recharge. And again, it may just be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 30 minutes here, going to bed early tonight, trying to sleep in a little bit. I had something I could have done this morning at 7, and I just decided I can't do it. I need that extra little bit of sleep. Even if I'm not asleep, sometimes it's just lying there to integrate. So when this intense energy comes in, we need to have space for it in our energetic fields. And this is true anytime. So it doesn't matter if you're listening to this topically in May of 2024. These energy activations come in every month. Every full moon is an activation. On top of that, this year, we have these larger activations. We just had these solar flares. That was an intense activation. There's something coming in June that's going to be similar to that. I don't know if it's exactly solar flares, but another huge activation. So when energy comes into our system, we need to know how to deal with that. If we're not energy aware, if we're not energy savvy, what it tends to do is just kind of knock around what's already there. Sometimes it makes us sick. Sometimes it makes us feel really exhausted. Sometimes we have physical symptoms. Sometimes we get really cranky and kind of not very nice to our loved ones or the people around us. That's that full moon energy that everyone in the medical field knows about and talks about. Oh, it's a full moon. It ramps people up because there's a lot of energy coming in. So if you want to be conscious and intentional about receiving that energy, you need to make space for it in your field, which is finding moments for self-care. Releasing what no longer serves. How do we make space in our field? We let go of something that's not serving us. And the example I like for this, to make it more less abstract, more concrete, is I'm looking at my closet, cleaning out your closet. So if you have so many clothes in there that you can't put new clothes in there, that's kind of what we're talking about energetically here. So in order to get some new clothes, some new energy into my wardrobe, I've got to take some of the old clothes out and let them go, give them away, whatever it is, donate them, sell them, whatever it is. I've got to get rid of something to make space for what's new. That is what happens with activation. That is why during this activation, we're asked to release. So once we release energy, we make space for the new energy to come in, but then we also have to have integration time, processing time. We've got to really do that inner work of what am I releasing and why? How am I releasing it? Because it's not just enough to know, oh, I've got these limitations around abundance. I've got to set some intentions about how I let that go. And sometimes it's just setting intentions. Sometimes it's participating in some sort of a full moon ritual. Sometimes it's just getting still and silent and like listening to what comes up from inside of you, listening to your intuition. That is your best route for knowing how to release something and how to integrate. But you can never go wrong with rest. You can never go wrong with drinking water. You can never go wrong with sitting in water or standing in water. Attending some sort of intentional, conscious, thoughtful event, whether that's something like a sound bath or sound journey, going to a yoga class, practicing Tai Chi. Going to something where you're knowingly moving energy, exercising with intention moves energy. Receiving body work moves energy. So there's all different ways to allow yourself to integrate. All of them revolve around knowing what you need, which is that aspect of self-care we talked about a lot last week, and then actually doing it. Sometimes we know what we need or we know what we don't need, and then we have a hard time doing that, and there's usually beliefs underlying that kind of block us. So lots of energy coming in right now. It's an invitation to take care of yourself. It's an invitation to slow down in the areas of your life where you can, even if that's 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. Sometimes when I'm in my office and I have 5 or 10 minutes of downtime, I'll go and practice legs up the wall, just what it sounds like, lying on the ground with your legs up the wall. It's a yoga pose that allows for some integration, that allows for some grounding. We want to be connected to the earth, because that's the other thing. When all this energy comes in, some of it goes into our system. Some of it, as we release, it needs to release somewhere, releasing into the earth, releasing beyond your field, always with the intention for the highest good. Any energy you release may be used somewhere else. It's that idea of one person's trash is another person's treasure, right? So I'm releasing this energy. Maybe the earth can use this somewhere else. I don't know if I just packed a whole show in by talking really fast. It felt a little bit like that. What we're going to do now is just a nice short 10-minute check-in meditation. This is not our normal, we're going to get into some really deep energetic work. This is like an invitation to come back into your body. If you've been busy, we tend to kind of get into that mental space. So we're going to come back into the body, we're going to check in with the body, we're going to do some deep breathing. And again, this is just like a 10-minute self-care little recipe for you to take advantage of whenever you can. As with all of our meditations, you can come back to this anytime you'd like. So let's meditate together. So for this meditation, just find a comfortable position. You might even be in the middle of your workday with some headphones on. Perfect. It's not recommended to meditate while you drive. If you are driving, keep your eyes open and just let this play in the background. That can be helpful. You probably can't participate fully in the meditation. If you're going to, and you're in a safe place to do so, close your eyes, sit up, lie down, whatever feels good. The first thing we're going to do, as we almost always do, is take 3 or more deep oxytocin breaths. This is a cue to our nervous system that we're taking some time to come into that ease response, that parasympathetic mode. We may have been in the sympathetic all day, all evening, all week, all month. We're just going to take a few moments to invite ourselves to come into this rest and digest mode through these deep breaths. We're going to breathe in through the nose. We're going to let the belly float out strongly. We're going to sigh that breath out with an audible ha sound. vibrating the nerves that in turn vibrate the vagus nerve, telling the body that it's safe to relax. So I'll practice one with you here so you can hear what it sounds like. Allow that breath to float in. Do that at least 2 or 3 more times. You might notice right away that you feel a little bit more present. You're a little more aware of your body. Sometimes when we first come back into our bodies, the first awareness we have is discomfort. So you might notice the areas where you feel tense or uncomfortable or even painful. So it can be nice to direct your breath to those areas and also to do a little bit of movement. So my neck and shoulders feel a little tense. I'm just going to shrug my shoulders a few times, move my neck around really slowly with intention. I'm not really aiming for stretch here. I'm just bringing a little bit of awareness, a little bit of motion, a little bit of opportunity for some of this stuck energy to move, because that's what tension and pain are. Stuck energy, energy that's being held, energy that's not moving. So as you settle here, come to stillness. Maybe take 2 or 3 more deep oxytocin breaths. You can use that breath anytime throughout this 10-minute meditation. Anytime you breathe out through the mouth, it encourages energetic release. So as we release energy, we want to breathe out through the mouth. You don't have to include that audible ha, but it really does help to bring you into a state of relaxation. If it's accessible to you, place one hand on your chest, place one hand on your belly. If not, you can just bring awareness to the chest and the belly. We're just checking in with the body here. We get stuck in the mental space. So physically touching our body can help our energy, our awareness to come back into those areas of the body. So just being aware of how your chest feels. Maybe it feels a little bit tight. Maybe you've been in a rush all day. You can include some little gentle thymus rub. So just rubbing the sternum gently or tapping it. That activates the vagus nerve as well. Another sign to the body to come into that ease. You can do the same thing on your belly, giving your belly a little bit of a rub. Anytime we put our hands with intention on our body, we also open up an energetic flow, so you don't have to be Reiki attuned to send energy to yourself or someone else. Just having the intention, just touching the body in a mindful way opens up a flow of energy. You can keep your hands there if you'd like to, just allow them to relax in your lap or by your side. Now bring your awareness all the way down the lower body to the feet. It may be a little more of a journey than you might think. It might feel like a long way from the belly to the feet, especially if you've been in that mental space all day. So give yourself some time. Sometimes it's helpful to actually run your hands down your thighs. Again, bringing that awareness. The awareness goes where touch is. So as we touch our body, we bring awareness there. Maybe put your hands on your knees or above your knees for a moment. And then you can just direct that energy, that awareness down the lower legs all the way to the feet. Feeling your connection now to the earth, either through your feet, if you're sitting with your feet on the ground, through your bottom, if you're sitting with your bottom on the ground, or through the whole back of your body if you're lying down. The earth is a great supporter. It's also a great avenue of release. So just setting the intention, I release anything that's not serving my highest good. I allow this energy to be reused and recycled for the highest good. And you can just give any of that tension or pain, rumination, kind of racing thoughts, just give as much of that energy as you can into the earth here through this connection. And then for the last few moments here, we're going to open gently that crown chakra with intention, maybe just to about 40% today. And we're just going to invite in that beautiful golden light of source energy of unconditional love to flow in through the head, fill the face and the scalp, the neck and the jaw, the throat, This beautiful golden energy flows into your shoulders and down your upper arms, into your elbows, down your forearms, into your wrists and hands. Allowing this beautiful loving energy to flow into your chest and upper back. Letting it come down into the mid back, the upper belly, down into the lower belly and low back, into the hips and pelvis. Maybe pausing here for a moment, taking a deep breath. And as this energy flows down the legs, through the thighs, into the knees, down the lower legs, into the ankles and feet, maybe you exhale out any last bit of holding, of tension that you'd like to let go of here. For the last moment or so, setting an intention of what you'd like to release during this full moon. Releasing any resistance you have to abundance in your life, any form. The more specific you can get with this for yourself, the more powerful it will be, so you can use your intuition. I'll share a couple of phrases. You can always tweak those to meet your needs. It's most powerful if you can repeat these out loud. I release resistance to abundance in all forms in my life. I allow abundance to flow to and through me effortlessly. I deserve abundance. I lovingly receive abundance on all levels of my being. Adding any last intentional affirmations you'd like to hear. Check in with that crown chakra. You can close it all the way or just leave it open to about 40% for the highest good. Always set that intention for the highest good. Maybe again, placing one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly, just noticing any shifts. Just 10 minutes can completely shift your energy, physical, emotional, and mental energy, states of being. Giving yourself a little gratitude for being present in this practice. As you're ready, take one more deep oxytocin breath. Breathing in deeply through the belly, sighing that out with an audible ha sound. Again, giving yourself some gratitude for being present for this practice. Sat Nam. The truth of your identity is that you are a limitless being who has access to and deserves unlimited abundance. Allow yourself to receive that. Slowly begin to move your body, maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. If you're in a safe space to drift off to sleep and you'd like to do that, just disregard these instructions and allow yourself to float. If you're coming back to the rest of your day or evening, just moving the body very slowly with reverence, with gratitude for this practice you've just completed. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me for this first of hopefully many mini episodes of Wind Down Wednesdays. You deserve to find time for self-care. You deserve to receive abundance in all forms, on all levels of your being. Have a beautiful, abundant rest of your day or evening. Have an immensely expansive and restorative rest of your week. Remember to rest as you need to. And I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesdays.